Set it up. So, welcome everyone to the Eighth Chakra Company's Tuesday night call. We are doing this series, Healing Humanity. And tonight we are going to be talking about anger and betrayal. And I, for one, am really happy that Lily did not feel betrayed by me for not showing up last week. I had to fit that in somehow. That just kind of worked there. I was out of commission last week, and for those of you who actually heard me talk last week, I probably sounded better last week than I sound this week, but I feel great, and I'm excited to be back here on this call for the Eighth Chakra Company. This is our flagship product, and I actually love being here on Tuesday nights. Last week, I was kind of sitting, twiddling my thumbs on the sofa, wondering what in the world Lily was up to, and I heard some amazing things. I know you are absolutely in great hands. So she is totally passionate about this project, as am I, and we really want to make sure people don't miss a single week of accessing their information. And anger and betrayal is absolutely no different whatsoever. You know, Lily and I co-founded the Eighth Chakra Company with the purpose, the express purpose of helping people access more of their own information. We truly understand that as you can access more of your own information, when you know for yourself what is next for you, what is there for you to do, that the world all of a sudden becomes a better place. So that's why we give our Tuesday nights away for free. You know, Lily and I could be doing some really fun, amazing things. And we always want to be here with you. We always want to share this with you. So both of us are expert Akashic Records readers. We do it professionally. We also are master alchemists. We do that professionally as well. And we bring those skills here to our Tuesday night call so that we can benefit and heal humanity. Go ahead, Lily.
Oh my gosh, yes. And not only are we absolute expert Akashic Records readers and alchemists, but we are also, well, I don't even know how to say this, Bonnie, because I don't think that most people would understand this, but we have an intimate relationship with the angelic realm. Bonnie and I have spent lifetimes, literally eons and eons of lifetimes working with the archangels and the angelic realm, and we are very, very closely tied with them, and we receive messages from them. So throughout our call tonight, we are not only receiving messages from the angelic realm, but we are also receiving instructions and downloads for healing for you. Those of you that are on this call that are listening to us either live or listening to the recording, you are receiving the benefit of our relationship with the angelic realm, and you have a relationship with the angelic realm you may not be consciously aware of, but if you're involved in this community, you do have a relationship with the angelic realm, and they are here to support us, and they are here to be with us. They are here to provide healing for us and to give us the information that we are looking for. So absolutely, Bonnie and I are an amazing bridge, let's call it that, a bridge to the angelic realm. So that's one thing that makes us very, very unique. And so we're able to bring very, very high frequency healing and very high frequency wisdom and information for you. But at the end of the day, Bonnie and I are what we are most interested in is you accessing your own information and discovering your own truth and your own wisdom. And that's what we're all about. The other thing is that before we start our call, Bonnie and I talk for probably about maybe like 5 minutes, and we actually open the Akashic Records for you. We open it. The Akashic realm is an amazing dimension that records vibrationally everything that your soul has ever experienced, be it verbally, be it in action, be it in thought. And we open the records for our community, which is the Eighth Chakra community for tonight. Those of you that are on this call live or listening to the recording, you're part of a community, and we open the records for this community because you all have something in common. We all have something in common tonight. And when it comes to anger and betrayal, we have all experienced something that has knocked us off our feet, or that has impacted us profoundly in our heart, in our soul, that has maybe even made us sick, that has made us go into places that we didn't want to be in, that is a result of us experiencing the frequencies of anger and betrayal. And so we're here tonight to understand how we can alchemize those low frequencies. And that makes us very unique, because the Akashic realm gives us the ability to access that information and to bring in healing. And it is very unique. There is not another call happening in the entire universe that is similar to this. It just isn't. So, I mean, I know that sounds a little strange, but for those of you that are new with us, this is a guarantee. There is nowhere else on this planet that you can, probably on this universe, that you can experience the kind of call that we're going to have tonight. And then the other thing is that we set up an intention, and our intention really is for us and all of us to remember who we are and why we're here and what is our truth, and be able to access the powerful information that's available to us. Because as we are clearing the frequencies of anger and betrayal, that, by the way, we've been experiencing for lifetime after lifetime after lifetime, and as we begin to clear those low frequencies and alchemize them with higher frequencies, which we're going to find out what those high frequencies are today. Bonnie and I don't even know what those high frequencies are, because what we do happens live on this show, and you're part of, it's kind of experiential because it is just happening live for us all. We're going to understand what are the frequencies that will alchemize anger and betrayal, so that we can, for once and for all, heal those frequencies for ourselves as individuals. And as we heal them for ourselves and as individuals, we're going to heal them for all of humanity. And that's what this series is all about. It's healing humanity. All right, Bonnie, tell these beautiful people how this call is going to work.
All right. So here's what we're going to do. The first half of the call, the first 30 minutes, is we're really experiential. We really want to have a conversation, an interactive conversation with all of you. Lily and I get a chance to talk to each other all the time, except this past week, right, Lily? But we want to talk to all of you. You did not, hopefully, come join us for an entire hour here just to hear us speak. We want to hear what you all have to say, how anger shows up in your life, how betrayal has showed up in your life, maybe your personal experience, but maybe questions that you have about that. And that really helps us interact in the second half of the program. And in the second half, what we're going to be doing is accessing information from our 11th and 12th chakra, our 11th and 12th chakras, and we're going to be bringing down some new information about anger and betrayal, some wisdom, some perspectives. We'll be doing some alchemy and some healing. The minute this call started, my hands started moving, so I know we're already clearing things for those of you that are on the call, which is super cool and awesome. This is how you participate. So you drag your mouse down towards the bottom, you click on the chat button. When you click on the chat, the box opens, and then you have the opportunity to select that you're going to send a message to everyone, or if you want to send a message just to us privately, and ask us a question. And if you wanted to keep it private, it is absolutely okay. We're totally cool with that. But we do want to have you participate. It is a very different program when you all have your input than it is when just Lily and I talk. Trust us on that one. We definitely want to have you participate. Did I say participate often enough?
I think you need to say it a couple more times, Bonnie.
Participate, participate, participate. Okay, let's go ahead and start the conversation about, do we want to talk about anger first? Shall we talk about anger? Anybody, I'm just curious, anybody find themselves just a little bit angry over the holiday weekend? And I guess we can leave that as a question that's just sort of out there and open, but you know, the holidays, the Thanksgiving time is an opportunity for us to get together with our family and love up on our family. But I have been talking about the last couple of weeks, Great Aunt Sally, who is my analogy for the person who just doesn't get along with anybody. So I'm curious if anybody has gotten angry about Great Aunt Sally, something Great Aunt Sally said, or something Great Aunt Sally did, or possibly, you decided to venture out on Black Friday and somebody took your parking space and made you angry. So, we're open to all of those things, because if we move out the small stuff, we can also start chipping away at the big stuff. So it doesn't matter. Tiff, I see you went ahead and started putting in some information. So yay for you. For a moment, I'll just talk about anger, just to let you guys know. Anger, to me, is one of the 4 big frequencies that we are always talking about. And I say the big, low frequencies that we are always talking about. And that is pain, fear, unconsciousness, and anger. Those are kind of the 4 big ones that, I did say 4, right? That we're always referring to. And when we say anger, we are kind of covering the span of emotions. I actually had fun kind of checking these out. Irritation, frustration, aggravation, antagonism, rage, wrath, resentment. Any ones you want to throw in there? We are not saying that people are angry people. We are saying that they have angry frequencies, that they have resentment or wrath or things like that in their body that bubble up to the surface and show up. And we want to heal those. Go ahead, Lum.
Wow. Well, thinking about what Tiffany is saying about getting angry about the rooms being messy with her kids, I mean, I definitely remember having those kinds of feelings with my own children. But what I'm present to right now is the largest scale of what anger and resentment, how anger and resentment impacts humanity. I'm really present to that. And I'm starting to receive a lot of messages already about the impact on humanity. Because when we look at it on that small scale of how we feel, and Bonnie, when you bring up Aunt Sally, it really does remind me of this past holiday, just 4 days ago, Thanksgiving, 5 days ago, I had a family dinner with my ex-in-laws, and my ex-mother-in-law was unwilling to come to the dinner because my ex-husband was going to be there. And she was completely filled with anger and resentment over something that he did a year ago. And she absolutely refused to be in the same room with him a year later for a family reunion where we only get together like maybe once or twice a year. And her own anger and resentment was so huge that she could not be in that room with him. And as a result of that, we were not able to have the kind of family reunion that we were all hoping to have. And she was not able to get over it. And I was trying so much to open my heart and embrace her and envelop her and fill her with love and forgiveness and compassion so that she could let all that go and just be with her grandchildren and be with her stepson and be with me. And, and it wasn't possible for her because she was unable to release the anger and the resentment and the betrayal that she felt in her heart because of whatever it was he did a year ago. And so I completely relate to what you're saying about Aunt Sally, and we experience all of that. And what Tiffany is saying about, her kid's room being messy and how she goes into this, she didn't say rage, but I feel it from my own memory. The rage that I felt trying to get my kids to clean up their room. To me, it was a rage. So as I'm present to all of that, at the same time, I keep getting this message from the Ascended Masters that all of that is all fine and good, but that what we really need to be looking at is the impact on humanity and how the rage and the anger and the frustration that we focus on these little trivial things in our life, like Aunt Sally and my ex-mother-in-law and our children's messy bedrooms, is so trivial compared to what is happening on a global scale for humanity. And the global scale, which involves like wars and torture and poverty and famine and all these things. And so what they're wanting us to really focus on is to take our attention away from these little trivial moments of anger and frustration and what would those other words that you use, Bonnie, which are so cool, you know, and to really look at it from a more global perspective, and to open our hearts to seeing how we can heal those little trivial areas for ourselves, like almost like it's a matter of life and death. Like if I can actually heal the level of frustration that I have with my ex-husband, and the level of frustration that I have with my mother-in-law, and the level of frustration that I have with my neighbor, and the level of anger or resentment that I have with my ex-husband or with my father or with my mother or whoever, I mean, fill in the blank, because we all have that. We all have those Aunt Sallies, and we all have those stepmoms, and we all have those sons and daughters and brothers and sisters and moms and dads and neighbors who do things that aggravate us and that bring us into a state of, oh my gosh, really? Seriously? Are you really doing this again? So for us to be able to heal all that and put it really in perspective to what's happening on a global scale. So I'm seeing there's this huge light. It's kind of like a violet gold light that's coming in. And so we're starting to experience a download in this call that is so important, because healing anger and betrayal for the human collective is one of the most important things that we as individuals can do. So these frequencies are coming through for us, and I'm starting to see the color. It is it's kind of like a violet gold color, and it's moving in through, and I'm actually seeing it moving through our blood. I've never seen that before. So it's moving through the circulatory system, which kind of makes a little bit of sense if you think about emotions moving through and circulating through our energetic field. So these energies are moving, these frequencies are moving through our circulatory system, and they're absolutely beautiful. Gold and violet. It's a violet gold color. Very high frequencies moving in to alchemize anger and frustration and betrayal from our systems. And oh my God. So Bonnie, you need to shut me up right now, because if I start talking about betrayal, I will never stop talking. So go ahead.
All right. Well, I do want to let you know, Tiff, that as Lily was talking, I was seeing past life pictures for you that are, some of that is, you know, when you ask somebody to do something, you have these past life pictures that say your life could be at stake if you don't listen to me. And so I just want to let you know that we're moving any of you that have those pictures that say, if I give you a command and you do not listen to me, something very serious could happen. You could die. We're moving out those pictures for you, because that is one of the aspects that come up, you know, for that. That is, if you don't listen, people are going to die, and it's a really dangerous thing. Sid, I see that you noticed, and I love this, that you noticed that your anger is connected to fear. And that is another aspect of it, that, you know, often we get really angry because somebody has triggered a fear in us, and we are, you know, like reacting. We're like just springing at them, because it's like, I don't know what else to do with this other than get angry. And I actually got this experience today. I have been, I've had like it sounds and looks like a cold for the last few days. And I'm walking through the grocery store, and suddenly my eyes start to burn and they start to water. And I just immediately got really angry. I was like, get enough of this. I'm tired of this. And I immediately pick up the phone and I texted a friend of mine and said, can you please work on me? I don't know what this is. And the only thing that came across was fear. That's all she said. And I was like, damn, that is absolutely the truth, that I went into fear, like, oh my gosh, I'm not going to be able to see. I'm not going to be able to do what I'm doing here in this environment. And and I got angry. Angry was the response. So way to go on that one. I appreciate you you sharing that, because they are very definitely connected to each other. So it is a great thing that you all are sitting there participating with us and giving us some great examples. See, that is exactly what we're talking about. You all have a lot of information as well. It's not just us that are the wise ones here, for sure. So, Lily, I'm going to give you the floor on betrayal for all of 3 minutes. Go ahead.
Wow. So, betrayal, I've experienced so much betrayal in my life, and it's a very low frequency. But the really cool thing, I have to say, the really cool thing about betrayal, because there is something really cool. There's something really cool about everything nasty that happens in our life. There's just something that is very interesting, because I want to remind you, and Bonnie and I are always talking about this, that there is no experience that can happen in our life without us having agreed to it. So if you are experiencing anger, or you're experiencing betrayal, or you're experiencing any negative frequency in your life, any kind of negative vibration, any kind of negative emotion or experience, it's there through your agreement. And if you could connect with why you agreed to it, then you can get the teaching of it, get the lesson, and then move on to the next thing. So betrayal, I've had a lot of betrayal in my life, and most of it has been through romantic relationships. And I just have to say that on the other side of betrayal is this deep, deep connection with my own truth. So as I alchemize betrayal, which is the undermining of trust, trust, by the way, is one of the highest possible frequencies available to us in the universe. It's right. It's a form of love, and it's a very high level form of love. It's a very huge frequency, high frequency that allows us to heal. Trust is an amazingly healing frequency. And betrayal is completely the opposite of that. Betrayal undermines trust. It completely undermines the frequency of trust. And so when you experience betrayal, you need to ask yourself the question, why am I welcoming, or why am I agreeing to this frequency in my life right now? And through my own experience, what I've seen is that when I've experienced betrayal, yes, it's been painful. Yes, I've suffered through it. Yes, it's been really a not pleasant experience. But through it all, I've been able to carve my way through the muck of it and come up with a reason to love myself more, and a reason to trust myself more, and a reason to know myself more. So I guess the thing that I really want to say about betrayal and about anger, like all low frequency emotions and all low frequencies, is that when you're experiencing them, allow yourself to open your heart and ask your soul the question, why is this here, and why have I brought it into my life? And again, back to what I was saying before, if we could open up the scale to how the impact of this low frequencies is occurring for us as a human collective, the massiveness of that is so huge that we must all be motivated and inspired to do something about it. And it all comes back to understanding who we are and what is our truth. And what I'm committed to is to understanding how I can trust myself more and how I can trust my soul more. And that's what I want to leave you with as an inspiration, is that if you're experiencing betrayal, it's probably because your soul wants you to know the other side of that, which is more and more of the truth of who you are. So yay for that.
Absolutely. Oh. Absolutely. And I really love, as you were talking, that I was hearing that it's important for us to remember that we are souls here having an experience. As Lily said, it's all by agreement. We came into this lifetime with this checklist of things that we were here to do. And as souls, we want to experience all ranges of the emotions. So while you may be the person who was betrayed in this lifetime, you have been the betrayer as well. And it might even happen in the exact same lifetime. So it is, from from a soul perspective, we're just trying to get all the different experiences. I have now started to think about it kind of like the rainbow, where all colors exist in there. And we're really trying to hit every single color in the spectrum. And our souls do not have judgment about any of this stuff. Our souls don't have judgment about when we get angry. If I had a temper tantrum in the grocery store today, my soul would have been totally okay with it. I would have felt really foolish and ridiculous. But my soul would have been like, right on, you cleared some more stuff out. It is totally cool that you did that. So remember, as you're looking at any of these emotions that we're talking about, any of these frequencies that we're talking about, is that we are here to experience them in all of their color and their glory, not just, oh, this is the only one that I am. I'm all of them, not just this particular one or that particular one. We're covering the entire gamut, which actually reminds me that I wanted to slip this one piece in about anger, and I'm not sure that it would show up necessarily with betrayal, but this aspect of anger is the flip side of anger. You might be somebody who's really quick to get angry and show your emotions, but I want to just spend a moment on the person who thinks that they have to swallow their anger, the person who's like, I can't talk about it. I'm not, good girls don't say that word that starts with F. We could probably say it here, right? That kind of thing is also part of what we want to heal. We want to heal the fifth chakra stuff that says, I can't talk about my anger. I'm not allowed to be angry. That's probably more third chakra stuff as well. But we want to take a look at those things just as much as we look at the people who fly off the handle or lose their temper at a football game. That would be my dad. All of those kinds of things as well, because the people who stuff it are just have just as many issues and concerns with it as the people who spread it around. Does that make sense, Lily?
Absolutely. And I also want to add that anger can also be healing in and of itself, because Bonnie and I are always talking about everything has a frequency and everything has a vibration. And anger actually has a higher frequency than depression. When you're in a state of depression, you're almost immobilized. When you're in a state of depression, sometimes it can be hard to get out of bed. You might not be able to eat. You might not be able to talk. You might not be able to interact with people. So if you can move into a state of anger where you can actually interact with people, even though it might not be the most positive interaction, it is still a higher frequency than depression. So there's something to be grateful about anger. Anger can put you into action. Anger can also allow you to make things happen. Have you ever been angry with, a retailer because you didn't get the service that you required or that you paid for, or that the product that you bought wasn't what you expected to get? Did you ever get angry in that regard? And did that anger cause you to get into action and make something happen so that it could be corrected? And so anger can have a really positive aspect about it, just like what I was saying before about betrayal. Betrayal can also put you in action to discover more who you are and to say no to any one relationship in your life or anything in your life that would have you be undermined in the way that you trust who you are, and in the way that you trust who your fellows are, and in the way that you trust who humanity is. So sometimes these low frequencies can wake us up. And so I'll just say it because, it could help us wake the fuck up to who we are in our truth. So all these frequencies are important for us to understand. And so I just got to say right now, Bonnie and I had this intention to have more audience participation, and we haven't shut up for a single moment since we started this call.
Although we have gotten a lot of people, several people who have popped in.
That's true. That's true. But okay, so before we go into the second half of the call where we're going to start bringing in these messages, because the angelic realm, as well as the ascended masters and the Akashic realm, are all very excited about sharing some messages with us. But we would love to open the floor up to any of you who might like to share any experience that you have about anger and betrayal, or anything like that that you would like to share with us.
Thanks, Rosanna. We appreciate that comment there. Yeah, so we would love to have somebody step up and share something. Yeah, there you go. There you go, Lil.
I know, Bonnie, it was really difficult for me last week to try to interact with the audience with you not here. It was definitely very interesting. Okay, so we have a lot of shy people in our audience, which that's okay. I don't have a problem with that.
We have a lot of people that aren't shy too.
So
I do want to share this story, and if Eileen wants to pop in and do the 2-minute version of it, she is certainly invited to do that. I love this story. Somebody that Eileen knows who actually has held on to their anger and their revenge for, I think it was over 60 years, and waited 60 years of marriage in order to get back at her husband. When they were first married, she got really sick. He was kind of running around and playing and having fun and not sitting by her side, wasting away. And then 60 years later passes, and he gets really sick. And the first thing that she does is call Eileen up and invite her to lunch. And Eileen says to her, "But isn't your husband sick?" And she said, "Listen, I've been waiting 60 years to get even with him." So, there are those of us who really plot and plan, not necessarily wishing ill of anybody, but when it does happen, we do want to, take advantage and get even with somebody. So if you're one of those people, we're going to clear those frequencies out for you as well, that need to get even, and that feeling like if things aren't even, because this is a really important one in anger too. If things aren't even, like, he started it, so I've got to be the last one to finish it. We're going to move out those frequencies. It says things need to be even and equal. They don't. You could actually take the higher road and walk away and consider it even.
Wow. As you're saying that, Bonnie, I'm really present to these absolutely beautiful, they're kind of like a pink peach, very deep, deep frequencies. They kind of remind me almost of the color of a flamingo, that is kind of like peach, but it's pink, but it's really deep. And I'm really present to like this aspect of what we're capable of, which is to nurture each other and to provide a healing space for each other. And we don't often do that because so often we are focused on, how can I get back to that person? Someone cuts us off and we're trying to figure out how can we get in front of them and cut them off, because we can't let them get away with cutting us off. And so what I'm really present to is this energy. And I was sharing with you before our call how lately I've been experiencing a lot of Sophia energies, and Sophia is the feminine aspect of Source, Creator, God. And it's a very nurturing kind of frequency that helps us to understand each other. Understand is not the word. I don't know the word. I don't know the word. It's because it's more like comprehend, but it's not. That's not even the word either. It's more like if I can be in your space, Bonnie, if I could like really step into your energetic field and be in your shoes and experience what you're experiencing right now, like way beyond what my claircognizant channels or my clairsentient channels or my clairvoyant channels could possibly be able to experience. Like I could see you through my third eye, I could feel you through my clairsentience, but what I'm talking about is it's beyond that. It's beyond the clairsentience and clairvoyance and claircognizance. It's like almost like if I was you. And this is what Sophia energy is trying to show to us, is that if we could be in each other's space and totally really understand and get each other for who we are, then we could bring in the total like healing for each other from a very nurturing place, you know, kind of like what we need to be doing for ourselves when we look in the mirror and say, oh, I just love you. Instead of, oh my gosh, there's another wrinkle. Or, oh my gosh, or like what I do, you know, I pluck all my grays. If I could actually love my grays instead of plucking them, you know what I mean? Like just be inside of this nurturing place and love every aspect of myself, no matter what it is. And that's what this Sophia energy is about. It's a total comprehension, a total understanding, a total being with, and a total understanding and a total oneness with it all, so that we could actually be there for each other and heal with each other. And it's just so beautiful, you know, and it's right here, and it's being downloaded to us right now through this beautiful, it's kind of like a peach pink color, and it's very deep. Like I said, it looks kind of like a flamingo-y, but it's not quite as dramatic as flamingo, you know. It's hard to describe because I've never really seen that color before, but it's very bright and deep and profound, and it's moving through for us right now, and it's just absolutely beautiful. And I'm seeing it coming in through the heart chakra and moving through our entire spinal system, very much associated with the spinal fluid. Not sure why, but that's where it's coming through. So
awesome.
Wow.
Awesome. That's a great way to start this.
Yes.
I'm going to talk just a few minutes about the Akashic Records is the process that we often use to access information and to pass along wisdom to you all. But Lily and I both access our 11th and 12th chakra information as well, which connects us to the bigger perspective that is out there in the universe. And so I want to take on the aspect that we haven't talked about tonight, about anger and betrayal. And it is anger and betrayal on the world stage. And the anger and betrayal that we feel on a national level, that perspective that often we have, that there is something that needs to be done, that there is a problem happening in the world, that if we do not handle it, that the world is going to end. The world is going to be over as we know it. And the example that they're giving me is an example. I guess we're going to go big or go home. We're going to talk about nuclear war is the example they're giving me. And I think they're giving me that example because from the perspective of what is happening in the world, that's like the big, huge one that is never going to happen. And I am giving you the information as it's being given to me. I am not in a debate about whether we are going to blow ourselves up or not. So if you'll just give me the grace of having this conversation, because it is the idea that something is going to happen that is not divinely planned and not divinely timed is something that they want us to take a step away from, to just take a baby step, to just be willing to think that there might be an alternative view to whatever your big thing is, whatever your big crisis is, and to take a step away from that and say, maybe there's a possibility that that particular thing is not going to happen. Maybe there's a possibility that the world is not going to be blown up by a nuclear bomb yesterday. When we often talk in our family, we often use those analogies as in the past, because the past has already happened. We don't have to worry about it. But maybe it's a possibility that that is not going to happen, that if we take a step away from it and say, okay, let's just say maybe it won't happen. Let's just say that's not going to happen. But they also want to give us the opportunity to see that there is a place for for our anger, for our frustration, for our sense of betrayal as well. That there is the argument, like it's like stepping on one side of the scale and saying, absolutely, there is no possibility that is going to happen. And everything is divinely planned and divinely timed, and there isn't that thing that is going to happen. But on the other side, that there is a place where we can use our anger, where we can use our sense of, they're actually telling me, our sense of righteousness, that there is something for us to do. And we actually, several of us that are on the call tonight, were in a conversation last night. Last night, talking about how we can deal with what is happening in the world. Like when you feel called to be active in the world, how do you do that without sacrificing who you are, without sacrificing your frequency, without sacrificing how you show up in the world? How is it that you can, march against something that you really are angry about, that you really feel betrayed about, and still maintain that frequency that you want to maintain? And here's the answer, and I love that the answer is given to me from a perspective of Lily, because Lily is always talking about this word, and I finally gotten it imprinted in my brain. Entrainment is the answer. And entrainment is a science principle that actually says when you have a low frequency and you introduce a high frequency to it, it is actually a science principle that says when you introduce the high frequency, that the low frequency will automatically rise to the level of the high frequency. It is a scientific principle. It's not woo-woo. There's nothing, any kind of that part of this. It is a principle. So when you have anger or fear or pain, which is a low frequency, and you bring in a little bit of appreciation or gratitude or understanding or wisdom to that low frequency that you're talking about automatically gets brought up to the level of the higher frequency. So we're talking about it in terms of something that we really want to be active on. There's something we're really ticked off about. There's something happening on the national stage, on the international stage, that we're really angry about. So what do we do about that? How do we handle that? We use the process of entrainment. So in entrainment, what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at that, and instead of adding more anger, instead of adding more fear or more whatever low frequency you could possibly add to that, what we want to do is we want to add a little bit more love. We want to add a little bit more appreciation for the other person's perspective. Maybe we want to try stepping in the other person's shoes and seeing where they're coming from and having some sense of what they are going through. That allows us to add a little bit more compassion, a little bit more understanding, a little bit more wisdom to the perspective. And while there are those people who will say, I'm just one person, how is that going to make a difference? It absolutely will make a difference, because your one person added to my one person, to Lily's one person, to everyone else who starts to do this stuff will start to shift those things. They will shift exactly as they're supposed to. And what happens is we are shifting as well. There are changes that are going on in us as well. So not only are we shifting that particular situation that's happening in the Southwest United States, but we're shifting whatever is happening in the Northeast, or shifting what's happening in the Pacific Northwest. We are starting to shift things, and it's something that you can do with the anger. It's something that you can do with the betrayal, is find something to be grateful for, find something to love, find some kind of appreciation, compassion, wisdom, understanding for the other person's perspective. It's a little piece, but it makes a huge difference. And since I've been talking, all of those frequencies have been coming in for everyone. And so everybody's frequency is going up, and they're having more alchemizing of the pain, the fear, and the anger. So it's a really beautiful thing. Go ahead, Lily.
So, wow. I'm always in awe about how our messages always intersect somehow, Bonnie, and we're always so there with each other in what we're bringing through. And we are bringing through the same truth through our own eyes, and our interpretation is slightly different, but oh my gosh, it's sometimes so identical that I have it's very amusing and wonderful and beautiful. It truly, truly is. And as you're talking about entrainment, I am so present to something that's been happening for me a lot lately, is that I keep asking the question, and when I'm working with clients on a private basis, the thing that keeps coming up is, okay, so through entrainment, and if I'm going to bring in that high frequency to alchemize that low frequency, what is that high frequency that I need to then invoke, or that I need to be present to, that I need to download? Because we are able to download frequencies. And so I'm calling upon the downloading and the connecting with and the tuning into and the alignment of and the allowing for the manifestation of the high frequencies of gratitude and appreciation and love and nurturing. These are the high frequencies that are going to help us to alchemize anger and betrayal in our life, not just for ourselves as individuals, but for ourselves as a human collective. So if you're listening to this call and you're listening to us live, or you're listening to this recording right now, you need to be connecting with your heart. This is what is being directed for us. You need to be connecting with your heart and asking, why are you here? Why are you on this call? Why are you listening to this recording? Why are you involved with the Healing Humanity series that the 8th Chakra Company is doing? And you're going to receive an answer to that. And that answer has to do with that you have always, always, always in your heart wanted to make a difference for humanity. There has not been a time that you did not want to make a difference for humanity. Always that has been there for yourself. And the way that you make a difference for humanity is to bring in the frequencies that are going to heal the very low frequencies that we are experiencing as a humanity. And what I've been really present to, oh my gosh, this morning, as I was doing my sunrise walk, I was so present to, because there was no sun. There was no sun whatsoever. It was a completely overcast morning. The sun was not to be seen. And so I could take the absence of the sun that I am so used to seeing every morning, and I could say, okay, well, wow, this could be really depressing. But instead, I alchemized the presence of no sun with the appreciation and gratitude for the light. Because you know what? There was no sun, but there was light. There was an immense amount of light coming through, and it was flickering, and it was shining, and it was reflecting off the ocean waves, and it was reflecting off the clouds, and it was reflecting from the sky, and it was reflecting from my eyes. So I could absolutely stand in the appreciation of the light. And as I stood in the appreciation of the light that was coming through, I was then able to alchemize the absence of the sun, which was an amazing, miraculous experience for me. And not that I've never experienced that before, but just think about it. If you are experiencing betrayal, or if you're experiencing anger, or if you're experiencing resentment, or any other of the low frequencies that we experience at any given time, because we're human, because we are souls in a physical body, experiencing all the human elements and all the personality and all the ego traits that we came here to experience. And when you are experiencing the muck of all of that, the muck of what it is to be human, how do you alchemize that? And how do you begin to experience God? How do you begin to experience source? How do you begin to experience grandness and oneness and unity and the cosmic forces that are filling our hearts every single day, that are available to us through everything that's coming in through us, the light, the cosmic energies and frequencies that are coming in for us? Because they're coming through for us from the angelic realm, and they're coming through for us from the ascended masters. They're coming through from our masters, teachers, and loved ones in the Akashic realm, who want nothing more for us, from us, or for us, than to see us heal and to see us welcome the oneness and the truth of who we are. So as I am moving into this place of appreciation and gratitude, which is one of the, and Bonnie and I've talked about this before in other calls, gratitude is one of the highest possible frequencies. It's a high form of love. It's a high form of Christ consciousness. Gratitude and compassion are two. If you ever have a doubt on how you can alchemize any low frequency through entrainment, just bring in gratitude, bring in compassion, and you will alchemize those low frequencies. Guaranteed, guaranteed. You cannot fail when you bring in that appreciation and when you bring in gratitude. When you connect in your heart with the gratitude and you ask yourself, okay, why is this here for me? Why have I welcomed or why have I agreed to this experience of betrayal? And when you really connect with that and you ask it with authenticity and you ask it with the real genuine interest in understanding your soul and understanding why you're in this moment, in this place, on this journey, in this very moment on the spectrum of your journey, which is really only a bleep. Because if you look at all the eons of lifetimes that you've had, this moment of betrayal is just a little tiny bleep. And this other moment of betrayal and this moment of anger and this moment of resentment, they're just little tiny bleeps. You look through all the eons of the lifetimes that you've had. We tend to only focus on the negative things, but you know what? We have a lot more moments of love. We have a lot more moments of forgiveness. And we have a lot more moments of gratitude for us to connect with than we have any low frequencies. We are more capable of experiencing love and compassion and gratitude and unity and togetherness and love than we ever could dream possible. So whenever you have those moments, stand in that space and remind yourself that this is just a bleep in time and space. Remind yourself that there is nothing more important than for you to, in this moment, be able to connect with the space of love and with the space of compassion that you know that you have available to you right now. So right now there's a huge amount of gold light that's coming in for all of us. And, you know, gold light is one of the purest, highest frequency forms of light available to us. And this is a very, very strong gold light coming in for all of us. And it's coming in actually at the base, at the brain stem. And what that says to me is that it's bypassing the brain and going right into the nervous system through the spine. You know, the spine is the kind of like the center of the communication system. Yes, the communication system starts in the brain, but it moves through our spine. And it connects to all the organs and to all the other areas of our communication and energetic fields through our spine. And that's where I'm seeing this beautiful gold light coming in through all of us. So some of you might be experiencing a little warmth behind the back of your head. And again, it's right at the base of the brain stem and then moving down into the spine. And it's literally, I can see it light up for all of us, whether you're listening to this call live or you're listening to the recording. It is lighting up the entire spinal column. Through the vertebrae, I'm seeing the vertebrae light up. I'm seeing the nerves endings and the neurotransmitters and every single nerve ending throughout the spinal column in every single vertebrae is lighting up and then moving out of there through the communication system that brings energy and information to every organ, gland, system in the body. And as I'm seeing this moving through, I'm seeing little sparkles moving through to every single organ, every single gland, and every single system. And for those of us that are on this call, what is even more important is that it's moving in through, wow, I'm seeing it at the mitochondria level, which is really huge because that's really DNA. And so that's really where all the programs start to come through. So we are all receiving a beautiful healing of communication system upgrade through the spine, through this gold information that's coming through for us. So it's kind of like our communication system is being upgraded for every single element system in our body. And that's just the beginning, because when our physical body is being taken care of, then our spiritual body, our mental body, and our emotional body can be taken care of right after that. We got to take care of this body. It is the vessel, it is the temple in which the rest of us functions. So I love seeing all of this. So maybe close your eyes for just a moment, just for a second. Close your eyes and envision this beautiful gold light moving in from the brain stem all the way through your spine, and let it nourish you as it is spreading out through every organ and every cell, every system in your body. And be now in a place of appreciation, and be now in a place of gratitude, and allow all elements, all programs of anger and betrayal to be lifted through entrainment up into this beautiful new energy, this beautiful new frequency of love and gratitude and appreciation. Let it be lifted up. Let it be integrated and alchemized so that you can now experience a higher place of love and a higher place of appreciation for all that is you and all the truth that is moving through you now. And take a deep breath into your heart right now. All right, Bonnie.
All right. Man, you got my beings all activated with that, with all that information. I'd start coughing and like, oh, I know how we're going to get Bonnie off the call. We're just going to flip her beings out. So thank you. I appreciate that. Move more of those things out. Certainly don't need any of those low frequencies. I don't need them anymore. I do want to let you guys know that Rosanna made a great comment there. I want to draw your attention to it. Just that she was talking about when frequencies come into the brain stem, that it actually, they were going right to the place of trauma, which was really cool because I saw that happen as well. That wherever you have a trauma, and I love the part about the communication system, because when you think about communication and anger, you know, what do? We're busy communicating, and people go, I've got to tell you how angry I am. We've healed that. Yay, thank you, Lily. I also want to thank everyone who popped in and had a conversation with us tonight. It was awesome to have you all, you know, even type your hearts out with all of that, all the questions and the comments that you made. It really makes a difference to us. So I want to encourage you tonight, so you'll do it again next week. Next week is Tuesday, December 4th. Can you believe we are in the month of December? And we are going to be talking about unworthiness. Are you playing small? I don't know anybody at all who does that. You know, just think it's going to be an amazing conversation. I used to call myself the queen of unworthiness. I no longer do that, but that doesn't mean I don't still have those frequencies. So we hope that you will join us again next week. I do want to add this, that the link that you used tonight is the exact same link that you are going to use next week, and it is the exact same link you're going to use the week after that. So hold on to it, treasure it, put it somewhere where you can find it again and again and again, and then you will be all set up for next week. Anything else you want to add, Lily?
Well, I just want to say that when you were saying about that you used to call yourself the queen of unworthiness, it feels like that's, you stopped doing that when you met me, because then I was the queen of unworthiness. Oh my God, I love you all so much. Thank you for joining us tonight. We look forward to seeing you next week. Bonnie and I could not do what we love to do. We so much love to do this and bring in all this wisdom for you and be a conduit for you to step into your truth and be more and more of who you already are. So thank you for joining us tonight. We love you so much. Have an amazing, amazing week, and we'll see you next week.
Take care.
Good night.